coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Hantavirus is a rare but serious illness spread through rodent urine, saliva, or feces. And before you start cleaning any empty building, here's a few precautions to take. 2019 is a federal election year in Canada. And following the announcement by long-standing Cypress Hills Grasslands MP David Anderson that he is not seeking re-election, a number of individuals are now stepping forward to run for the Conservative Party nomination in Southwest Saskatchewan. Well, with the milder temperatures finally here, city crews will be busy in the coming weeks addressing the wear and tear on the streets. And along with tackling potholes, street sweeping begins on April 24th. Thanks for joining us here today. The hantavirus is a common concern this time of the year on the prairies. We find out more in today's top story. This is the time of the year when many are busy cleaning out garages, grain bins, or cabins. And along with the dust and other debris is a concern for fecal matter from deer mice. Hantavirus is a rare but serious illness spread through rodent urine, saliva, or feces. And before you start cleaning any empty building, here's a few precautions to take.
First is the ventilation. It's always important to ensure as much ventilation in the place that's going to be cleaned as possible, because the less the ventilation, the more likely those particles during cleaning will come up to be easily absorbed or inhaled. The other thing is avoiding anything like dry cleaning, i.e. using wet methods, wet mopping methods. The final thing is, of course, making sure you put on the appropriate protection, using rubber or plastic gloves, wearing proper and well-fitting N95 type filter masks when cleaning areas that are definitely contaminated or seriously contaminated. So those are the three sort of broad things to keep in mind. And, when you're using the wet mopping or the wet cleaning methods, it's pretty important to use a bleach disinfectant, because that will definitely kill the virus.
Hantavirus is not spread from person to person or from pets to humans. It can only be spread by direct inhalation of contaminated dust that contains the virus, and may result in symptoms such as fever, muscle aches, cough, headaches, nausea, and vomiting.
But the key thing with the hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is the shortness of breath and the cough. So if you've been cleaning out or exposed to a place that had mouse droppings and you develop these symptoms within the next few days or even a couple of weeks afterwards, definitely check with your doctor. According to stats from Saskatchewan Health, there have been 32 people with the hantavirus pulmonary syndrome reported in Saskatchewan since 1994. 10 of those cases were fatal. With the federal election called for this fall, prospective candidates are now stepping forward across the Cypress Hills Grasslands constituency. 2019 is a federal election year in Canada. And following the announcement by long-standing Cypress Hills Grasslands MP David Anderson that he is not seeking re-election, a number of individuals are now stepping forward to run for the Conservative Party nomination in Southwest Saskatchewan. One of those individuals is Sean Checkley, who recently made a stopover in Swift Current for an informal meet and greet with local residents. Checkley is married and a father of 2 children, and is the current mayor of Fox Valley and vice president of the Saskatchewan Party constituency of Cypress Hills, and says he feels he stands out from other nominees for a number of reasons.
I would say it's my diverse background. We were born and raised, like I said, in Fox Valley. Both my wife and I, we have an understanding of the area, what people expect and want for their leadership in the Cypress Hills Grasslands. We ranch and farm out in Fox Valley as well, and I spent 16 years in the oil and gas industry as a production operator for Apache Canada and Canadian Natural Resources. So I feel with municipal politics, industry background, as well as agriculture and oil and gas, that is a benefit for me to be able to serve everybody in the riding and have a broad spectrum of representation.
And if selected as the Conservative candidate for the Cypress Hills grasslands riding in this fall's election, Sheckley says his campaign would focus on the following key areas.
To have a strong economy, get resources back to where they need to be to support small and large businesses, and also bring stability and understanding to a tax system or business perspective of consistency, so that people aren't concerned that they may be facing challenges when they're not expecting face challenge when it comes to something like the carbon tax forced upon them.
In the coming weeks, an actual date is expected to be announced for the official candidate nomination for the Conservative Party in the Cypress Hills grasslands constituency. Voters across the country will be heading to the polls on October 21st to cast their ballot in the 2019 federal election.
I'm Robert Christie. I'm from Saskatoon. I'm represented by Art Placement in Saskatoon, and I do abstract painting. Some might actually call it construction. The inspiration comes from previous work, and I always have several on the go, maybe a dozen. And I have remnants, so one that I'm working on will give me an idea for the other, or a solution that I think will work on one doesn't, and I move it over. This one, for instance, is about a year in the making, but I'm not working on it daily, of course, but over that time period, it evolved, so to speak. I use veneers, 1/8 inch, and then some other plywood that's 1/4 inch. The other aspect of this one is that because it comes out probably an inch or so off the wall, and there's many layers overlapping. With this one, I backed in, or I covered the sides of or the edges, so that a lot of the overlapping underneath stuff is not exposed. And I tried to incorporate much as a sculptor would, I guess. I just sort of hid the underneath stuff. Educating the public about art, I guess for me, I have to say it's educating them about good art. I think the general public has a general idea about what art is, or what it's about, or what it's involved with, mainly because they don't have enough experience with it. Without a real deep sort of involvement and some sort of empathy, if you will, within that person, it's always just going to be a passing by. Say, what are we going to do on Sunday? Well, once a year we might go to a gallery. Well, that's not going to educate them, and they're not going to expand their knowledge very much by just walking by and seeing these things.
You scroll the word art for sale.
So I think the public gallery and also the commercial galleries, they're talking to these people, hopefully, or they have people that will engage and try to discuss. Hopefully they really enjoy the art that they're putting up, and consequently they should be able to express that feeling to some extent to the individual who dared to actually say, can you tell me something about this? Many people are afraid, the naivety, if you will, or the unfamiliarity with the subject, keeps them from asking questions. The best thing is to go in, and if you don't get it, ask somebody.
With the arrival of warmer weather, the annual street maintenance program is set to take place here in Swift Current. Well, with the milder temperatures finally here, city crews will be busy in the coming weeks addressing the wear and tear on the streets. And along with tackling potholes, street sweeping begins on April 24th. Residents are reminded to move their vehicles off the street when crews are scheduled to clean their respective neighborhood. Signage will be displayed in each area in advance, notifying you of street sweeping planned for that week. More information on the 2019 street sweeping schedule and neighborhood maps are all available online. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone, at our studio, or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.